Good evening, everyone, and welcome to GrayManPrepping. Uh, Today is Tactical Tuesday. We're going to be discussing tactics, gear, and more, and mostly a little bit more on this one because it's some cool stuff we're going to be talking about. And so tonight's topic is uses for used motor oil and transmission oil and hydraulic oil and a bunch of other stuff here. So how's everybody doing out there? Now, quick question. On my end, I kept hearing blips in the sound in the music for the Tactical Tuesday intro. It'd be going on so like every now and then, just kind of just a cut. Did you guys hear that as well? I don't know. I just thought I'd check with you guys and see what's going on. Hey, Steve. And others. Let's go back up here. I just saw him pop in. So let's go to the top. Okay, to the top. First one in was Fishes and Loaves Lives. She just stopped in to say hi, hit the like button, and she's going to be busy. She may or may not make it back in time for more of it. Garden State Gardener came in and said hi, said he'd be back. Rice Aroni's here. The Jewish Redneck Prepper's here. And Fat Man Prepper's here. Hey, Ray. And go down here. Kalen Strain is in the house. And Corsair Trainer Steve's here. He's lurking. And Garden State Gardener's back. Okay. Alrighty. So this one we're going a little retro on this a little bit. I was rewatching some videos a little while ago. And then somebody else, I'm trying to remember who it was, talked about, I was saying, are there uses for motor oil? Always Prepared, I think it is, was the one that mentioned it. Then I went back and I was checking some videos. And there's one of the channels I've been watching, one of the original channels I was watching from the beginning. In fact, I was watching him because he was doing a series on barbed wire fence repairs, how to set up the corner posts for barbed wire fences and get it all tensioned right and everything. Hey, Brenda, Duncan 1900 Homestead. And that is Back to Basics 101. And he's over in Montana. And hey, Glenn, how's it going? And he did this a video on using used motor oil for wood preserving. And when I saw that years ago, it's like, that's why my grandmother always used to go out there and had my dad save the motor oil, and she'd put it on the fence posts, especially down around the bottom where the grass would try to grow up around it, is to protect the fence posts and make them last longer. So that's what the idea for tonight's came through. So let's and I froze. That time it was me. I can tell that. The way the sound was glitching earlier on the intro thing, I wasn't sure whether it was my internet connection because that video is uploaded to StreamYard, so it's on their servers, and it's being played from them. So I wasn't sure it was coming back to me that way or whether I was having power fluctuations here or whatever. So, anyways. Alicia's in the house. Hey, Alicia. All righty. So let's go over here and let's continue on here. So we're going to talk about, uses for used motor oil. And, so what? Yeah. Yes. All right. Calm down, people. Yeah. Beaker. Calm down, Beaker. Actually, it's on this side of me. Calm down. There's a lot of uses for it. And contrary to what the modern industrial age would have you believe, it's used motor oil is not as bad as they, do it, put it out there, and it has a whole bunch of good uses. But we're going to start off with the most common one people talk about nowadays is using it in a waste oil heater to heat their shop, their garage, or even, you have them for, garages, they have them for houses, down for your furnace thing and everything else. So there's a lot of different ways you can use waste oil. And then, of course, if you're really handy, you can build your own waste oil burner to heat up your shop. And that looks like one heck of a heavy duty waste oil burner. And then there's some smaller, fancier ones, and they have plans for them out there on the internet. And so you can look this stuff up and be able to find them and stuff. And yes, Kaylin's in an apartment and she can't use it there in the apartment. But yeah, of course, her apartment doesn't even want her to have propane, the little green propane bottles and the little My Buddy heater in case their heating system goes out. All right, but using oil as a wood preservative goes back for as long as oil's been around. And I'm not talking about modern oil. I'm talking about first time they saw the black crude oozing out of the ground somewhere in Egypt or Rome or wherever it was. And they realized, hey, this will protect the ships and it'll protect any wooden posts we put in there, keep the termites away a little bit, and you'll do stuff like that. So, using waste oil to treat wood is actually a good thing. It's environmentally friendly, folks. Contrary to what the wingnuts would tell you, it's environmentally friendly. Why? Well, think about it here. No, hang on a second on that. Hold on to that thought. I want to make sure I check up on my other ones here. Yeah, okay, here we go. Staining a fence. What do you use? What you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware or any of the other stores? What do you buy to stain a fence? An oil-based stain. And of course, the paint companies and stuff say, "Oh no, you can't use motor oil. You have to use our stain to stain a fence." Well, true. Theirs gives you a variety of colors and gives you more things to, more a variety of colors, but it's oil based and you got to repeat it every so often. And where do you think they got the idea from? Because, the old farmers and everybody else, used to use oil to coat the fences with and other things as well. So, depending on how used your oil is and how dark it gets, depends on how dark your quote your oil stain is going to be on your fence. Excuse me. So let's go on the next one here. And a lot of guys use it on their trailers and stuff. Those that are in the know, hey, the trailer wood starts to dry out, and from being all the stuff they're hauling on it and stuff, takes the paint off if you paint them and stuff. And so they put motor oil on there or hydraulic oil. Froze. Hydraulic oil, they want a lighter color. So the dry wood, what does it do when you put the oil or stain on it? It just soaks it right up. Let me alternate here. Back when I was working construction for the first construction company I worked for, is W&W Construction. They had a couple old Ford pickups with wood sidings on the beds, like stake sides and stuff. This stuff was so old and dried out. They called it driftwood flyers, because like driftwood, you put paint on it, it would just suck it all up and like nothing. And they actually wound up taking it off, and they used motor oil from the excavators and stuff like that. They'd use that to coat it, and after several years of every 3 months or so putting another coat of oil on it, it stopped sucking it up and it looked decent. And okay, hang on, we got a comment here. But oil-based paint is very hard to get. We have a metal fab business and use it when folks don't want powder coating. It's becoming a rare find. now order ours from Chicago, and they're in Tennessee. Yeah, the last time I bought oil-based paint was a primer from, okay, it wasn't Home Depot. Home Depot bought out Yardbirds in California, and it wasn't Yardbirds, it was Home Base before that. And so, and you know, it was the primer. Of course, you know, got the primer on there, got it, you know, dyed green because we're using it for trellis work. They couldn't get it dark enough because they didn't, you know, like with the latex paints, they can take the extra latex paint out to get the color the right, you know, to get enough dye in there to get the right color, and they can dispose of that safely because it's water-based. But hey, Wendy, Hardneck Farms, how's it going? But the oil-based stuff, they can't dispose of it, so they can only put so much pigmentation in there to darken it up. And so to get the dark color, you know, the dark green we wanted, we had to go with latex over the oil base. Hey, it's Jeremy, Tennessee Tactical One. Almost got it backwards there. And so, but the problem was putting latex over oil-based paint. After a couple of years, it peels off. Everyone's still talking about the uses on the sides. Yeah, keep it up. All right, so in the for a lot of the construction equipment on the decks on the trailers and stuff, to make the wood last longer, they'd put the oil base down. They'll use motor oil. After a while, a certain agency, California Highway Patrol, hey, are you guys putting oil on that? We're not sure that's safe. Oh, so you want us to go put oil-based stain on it instead to protect it? Yeah, same thing. It's oil-based. The oil won't soak so deep it would condition it. Yeah, all right. What thing is, you know, depending on how dry it is, you can really, some of the wood will suck up oil, and they'll suck up oil, and it'll suck up oil. You got to put several coats on it. But what's interesting is, so long as you coat it, you know, like you would having to restain a fence if you maintain proper maintenance on a fence, and we're restaining it, you know, at least once a year or whatever, it's going to make the wood last a lot longer. Now, motor oil, especially once it's been used past its, miles or hours on the machine, tends to get dark. If you change your oil early, it's a little bit lighter and it's not quite so bad. If your rings on your pistons, getting mechanical talk here, are starting to wear out, you'll get more soot and stuff down in the oil, darken it up and stuff. Hydraulic oil is usually a golden yellow, and that stains a lot lighter because it's even on the backhoes and excavators and stuff. Excuse me. The hydraulic oil needs to be changed too. Okay, it's just, you got to do it. It's just not that it gets black or anything. It's just that it gets contaminated with different with stuff. As the cylinders go in and out and stuff, and everything rubs and works and stuff, you start to get metallic pieces in the oil stuff, and it's just a good deal to change it out. Well, we would go and change out the hydraulic oil, and a couple of the guys at work would say, "Hey, I'll dispose of that for you," and they had decking out and stuff, and they would use the hydraulic oil and spend a weekend treating their deck, and then for a week make sure nobody went out there as it dried, and after that it was just like it looked and felt just like they'd used the one of the stains from Lowe's or Home Depot to treat it with. So, but getting back to some other things, I'm not sure if my next one's going to come up here with it. Let's see here. Right, Now, some people will want to put it through a sprayer and they will thin it with kerosene or diesel oil. Now, just as I talked about a year or so ago in one of my videos dealing with emergency lamp oil, and actually the link's down below in the description to that video. Diesel that goes in trucks and cars and stuff is number 2 diesel fuel. Exact same thing as what goes on into off-road tractors and stuff, except the off-road diesel has a little bit higher sulfur content. And the off-road stuff has a red dye in it. Now, if you take, so that's number 2 diesel. Number 1 diesel fuel is a little bit thinner, burns a little hotter, and number 1 diesel fuel has another name called kerosene. So your number 1 diesel fuel and kerosene are so close to being exact that it's just a hair off. And most of the producers now just produce the one and just put it in whatever container they want. If they want number 1 diesel fuel, they give them that. If they want kerosene, to give it to them as that. And here up in the cold states for my diesel tractor, so it takes 5 gallons of diesel to fill it up. Well, I'll put a quart of my kerosene in there with it to keep it thin so it doesn't gel up in the cold. Alrighty. And so some people use sprayers like this here to, they'll thin it out and they'll spray it and get it to go on and do stuff like that with it. Now you can also do the same thing, thinning of the hydraulic oil. So for a more golden color. Now, if you wanted to do something with transmission fluid, which is more red, you get a different color altogether. All right, so those are some of the different ways you can use it there. And that's the end of the slideshow. Now, let me go back over here. Boom, boom, boom. In the video that I referred to earlier from Back to Basics 101, I can't think of his name now. It just went out of my head. He was showing, he was doing the fence posts and the some of the slats on the side of one of his trailers and the bed of the trailer, the wood. And he was using the motor oil from his tractor and added a little diesel fuel to it. And as he's painting it, you can see it dribbling down on the grass down below. And he goes, don't worry, it's not going to kill the grass. And actually, because, hey, it's carbon. And so it's actually, unless you drowned it in it, the grass is going to actually go, ooh, okay. And it's going to use it and grow with it. Hey, Idaho Garden Girl, how you doing? And Howie, Food Forest Permaculture. And so, he was painting everything. And in a later video, he showed that same spot and the grass was greener. And I froze again. And the grass was greener where he had spilled some on the ground where it was there, where he was painting the post. So I know a lot of the, how do I say this without diming them out directly? Use your imagination, folks. But those that are overreactive to what happens to everything around us would say, oh no, it's contaminating everything, so, but someone, Gear's in the house. Hey, Gear grinding. And so there are other uses for used motor oil rather than getting it away and having to spend money to get something that'll do the exact same thing on it. And hydraulic oil and transmission fluid. And what's interesting is the 90 weight oil in the differentials puts out kind of a greenish tint on wood when you use it. So there are a lot of ways you can use it. Now, have any of you heard your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents talking about using old motor oil or hydraulic oil for anything else? Because I'd like to hear other ideas out there, share the information. So you can, even though the people say, oh, no, you can't use that. Yes, you can. You can use it, but still you need to be thoughtful about how you're using it. You don't take like the bucket and you just throw it on the fence and let it dribble everywhere. No, it's like you're regular painting or using a regular stain, oil-based stain that you buy at one of the big box stores or from Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore or wherever. So there's yeah. I'm just trying to think here for a minute, folks. Heating it up and throwing it from I knew I could count on Steve. Yes. Heat it up and throw it from the ramparts at the attacking horde. Or, Steve, dig a little trench around and fill it in there and get ready to light it up as they come charging across. Yeah. Who's trying to figure back. Not my grandmother on my mom's side, which was the one I grew up with most of the time, but my dad's mom in Nevada, she would take it and pour it on the ant hills. And they had the big, nasty red ants there. But weed control and sidewalk trash. Yeah, because there you're putting it on concentrated enough that it should have the ability to help, burn it, if you will, too much of it on there. Old motor finds. Oh, packing grease. Yes. I forgot about that. Yeah, they would do that in the old wagons and stuff. They didn't have motor oil, but they just had the raw crude, and they'd mix it with sawdust and use it as a grease. Okay, it's really jumping now. Let me go back up here. Duncan says, use it for dogs with mange. Okay, cool. Oh, pouring on tree stumps. Yes. On a tree stump, it kind of acts like putting nitrogen on the stump. It speeds up the decomposing of it because basically oil is made out of carbon. The tree stump's made out of carbon, and you're adding the liquid to it, and it does stuff. I'm not sure exactly why, but it helps speed it up. Especially if you can drill a couple holes and pour the oil into it, it'll help it to break up quicker. And Kathy D. Salt and Light is here. Oh yeah, Steve, remember, cover it with straw before you light it up. I froze. MT Coiner, how are you doing? All right, and let's see here. Back here, just trying to catch up on the comments. Any other ones here? Yeah, and during the depression times and stuff, they would take the motor oil and use it to for lubricating bearings and other things that were or the brass fittings and stuff where they had the oiler on it and drip oil in it. They'd use it there too. They strain it the best they could and use it there as well, and use the good oil in the motor. And Prepping to Endure is here. Sorry, I saw you there. I forgot to mention you. Yes. Tools, hand tools. Exactly. Used motor oil on hand tools helps keep them from rusting and, um, just from the moisture in the air and in between times you're not using it. And Rachel's in the house. Hey, Rachel. And Steve's going back to lurking. And I'm caught back up again. Good. All right. Oh, Gardner Josh is here. Where'd he sneak in? There he is right there. Boom. Gardner Josh. It jumped and I saw Brenda saying hi to him. So there now, this may upset a few people here that like their knives, but used motor oil, if you have a specific stone. Hey, yep, Josh, I saw you. You have a specific stone you want to use it on. If you're going to use a type of oil, stick to that type of oil on that stone. So if you have a wet stone that you use water on, never put oil on a wet stone. If you have an oil stone, try to keep it to the one type of oil on it. Hi, Tim. How's it going? Tim says, mix it with diesel, make a crude penetrating oil. Yeah. And so, back to the beginning here, those who just came in. So when I said there's other uses for it, old Beaker went, whoa, what? And so, if you have a supply, a large supply of the oil, a waste oil heater can help keep things warm. And I'm actually looking into getting one for the shop out here because one of the guys says he that runs the dairy, they just they pay someone to haul off their used motor oil for all their tractors and stuff, and he said I could have it all. So if I can get a decent price on one of these oil burner heater units, that's what I'll put out in my shop. That sounds like my brother's Chevy. I mean, 1,500 miles, he would have to add more, put 5 quarts of oil in it because it was all gone. Good night, Rice-A-Roni. So, one of the different type ones, of course, there's homemade ones, but I want to do a homemade one. I want to do a commercial one, and there are a lot of different commercial ones. This is one that you mount up higher in the like in my shop, I'd mount it up higher and just run the ducting out of the top of it out the side of the shop at the end and run it out there and heat my shop with it. I just got to get hold of some metal drums to store it in and see if I can get one of these at a price the boss will approve. Okay, 50/50 acetone, trans fluid, good penetrating oil. Yeah, transmission fluid and hydraulic oil are generally a lot better for your penetrating oils because they don't have as much particulates in them, especially if it comes from a machine that is serviced properly all the time. Okay, hang on. What's Howie saying here? Granddaddy would use the same oil in the old car and just keep adding oil. When it was too cold, he would heat it up and pour back in the engine at 30 below. Never did change the oil. And to me, old vehicles and stuff, I'm not sure when they started saying to change oil. I knew they probably say change oil filters after so many miles, just change the oil filter and it'll clean up the oil and stuff. Because hey, they sell cycled oil to put back in the thing. Basically, they run it through a super filter, takes out all the particulate, so you just got the oil again. So unless the oil's been burnt in an engine running too hot, you got, so you just need to have a real good oil filter to keep the oil clean for your car. But there, I'm sure if everybody was thinking outside the box of all the comments that were placed in here about different things, I could come up with a few more ideas. But yeah, now one of the problems I see with using motor oil, hydraulic oil, transmission fluid as a stain on plywood is that I don't know for sure, but I suspect it from my days in chemistry class and stuff like that. The oil would soak into the wood enough and get to the glue holding the plywood layers together and could cause it to break down. So I would not use them as a stain on plywood. And, oh, amazing. Courtney is doing a pop-up live in 30 minutes. That's a Wide Family Farm. So I just got the pop-up notice here. Now, she wasn't feeling too good last night and didn't do a live stream last night. Exactly, Kayla. Probably the same thing with OSB and particle board, too. Hey, Carol. Good to see you back. Greek fire would be more of the crude with some other things added to it to keep it burning and some more oxygenators, oxidizers, whatever you want added to it to provide oxygen to it. No, Garrett, nobody mentioned that. That, coating the metal. We talked about coating hand tools and stuff, saws, hammers, and stuff like that to keep them from rusting. That would probably be a good idea if you were able to get under there and do it yourself. As old as I am and the way my knees and back hurts, I ain't climbing under there. I might get one of my boys to do it. All righty. All right. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with it, stuff. But like around here, right now we don't have any wooden fences yet. I know Curtis across the street here has a portable sawmill, and he's just cutting up stuff. He's going to be making some really cool fencing around his place. And basically what he's going to do is he's cutting 8-foot sections, and he's going to put the 8-foot fence, and then he's going to cut around and make it so it cut out so like this looks like a little building, that looks like a stable, a bar, the barber shop, so it looks like a little city scene in an old Western town by just cutting out his fence. So, but good point, because hey, bicycles, chain, yeah, don't get oiled as much as they should. Yeah, where'd he go? Jumped on me. Yeah, here we go. Boom. Yeah, don't oil your brake rotors. All right. Anything? I thought of something. Anything missed there? Okay. All right. I just not sure I didn't do anything. That I didn't miss anybody in the side chat there. All righty. So I knew tonight was going to be short unless I get a lot of ideas from everybody. So do some research on your own. Check out what you can find out historically for uses for used motor oil, hydraulic oils. Now we were talking, because even back in the, as far as I'm dating myself. It was 50 years ago. No, it has to be more than 50 years ago. It had to be back in the 50s and 40s they were doing it. So that's even older than I am. So just check back, especially Depression era times, World War II times, when things were at a premium and people were having to make do and do things, that normally they weren't doing. Figure out ways to do it. And I still say that a lot of the fence stains and stuff is a conspiracy by the paint companies to try to stop using the motor oils and hydraulic oils and stuff on fences and make us buy stuff from them. All right, yeah, waterproofing tarps and stuff. Actually, what works really good for if it's a canvas tarp for waterproofing it, and it doesn't smell good, whale oil. That's what a lot of the slickers were originally done with. Was they did whale oil. Okay, I don't know if everybody can hear me. Hang on a minute here. Settings, camera. Am I moving again? I'm moving again. Okay, let me fix the camera. There we go. I mean, it just totally froze up, totally weird. And since I didn't have anybody up here, I didn't want to unplug and plug myself back in. I had to go in a different way to fix the camera. All righty. Yeah, almost lost me there. I got another stupid update from Mr. Gates, and it really doesn't like my his product peripherals, like my camera, which is made by a Logitech. Doesn't like it, tries to make me buy one of theirs. Okay, so whale oil is not easy to come by today. Let me go back up here. Some other stuff here. Let's see. There was something I was thinking about before I really froze hard. Shoot. Okay. I just popped in my mind and went again. This is old age, folks. I turn 65 next month. All right. Yeah, when I was changing my camera setting, the screen went blank. So there was another type of oil that I was thinking about, used oil that we could use for things. Oh, all right. Besides motor oil, there is other oils you guys can use for different things. Think about it. Think outside the box. Cooking oil. Vegetable-based cooking oil. What else can you use that on for too? So, you do your, expand your mind, because if things go and you got to figure out how to make things work, you may be using some things you never thought of for certain things. All righty. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you're going to do that, usually you want to use a thinner oil for the adding to the gas, and research it before you just dump something in there. Howie's talking food over in the side chat. It just keeps distracting me. Howie, no pears, Italian plums, or yakimas. He has 13 types of tomato. Oh, man. Well, hey, Howie has the prepper garden. And I froze. Yeah, so Howie has the prepper garden going on. Okay, so his old lawn boy garden mower did it. Okay. All right, folks. I'm going to wrap it up here a little early because we've covered about everything I could think of. We've got some great suggestions from the side chat. If you came in late and missed them, the chat will appear on the rewatch. If you want to, watch the replay. Usually, I've noticed it's taken about at least 12 hours or so, or 18 hours for it to come up. So if you wait until this time tomorrow, it should have the chat should be available. I don't know what it is that YouTube is delaying the chat coming up on live streams. All righty, folks. So with that, just remind everybody, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicines, skills, and the way the grocery store is going, plant a garden. Try an indoor garden if you can. All righty. Take care, and I'll see you later.